What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Geek Pantheon. I am Eric, and today we have another Candlekeep Mystery review. How to run. I never really did a good job of codifying what this series was. But anyway, we're going to be talking about Sarah of Yellowcrest Manor. And this one's a ghost story. Spooky. So I overall really like this adventure. If you are here to see if it's a good one, it is really good. In fact, there's not going to be a whole lot of fixing going on, just tweaking things that I think could make the adventure a little bit better. But run as is in the book, you're in for a good time. It's a really well constructed adventure. I think it's got a good, compelling story. I think that it's got a good tragedy at the center of it. So yeah, if you are interested in just that level of critique, then go play it. It's really good. It is written by Derek Ruiz and is for 7th level characters. Forgot to say that up at the top. But there are some things about it that I would tweak. First off, the book is unnecessary. The conceit of Candlekeep Mysteries, of all these adventures being tied to a book, is, it gets stretched thin a little bit for some adventures. And not necessarily the book itself. I think that the book could work really well as Sarah's journal that the party comes upon in like a footlocker or an abandoned house or on somebody's body or, out in the world. It shouldn't be in a library. I don't even know where it would fit in the Dewey Decimal System. The first third of the book is just the name Sarah over and over. Like, what librarian is going to look at that and be like, yes, put that in the nonfiction. So, yeah, that's my only weird thing, is it being in Candlekeep and the party finding it there. Just have them find it out in the world. That makes more sense. And also, that means that Sarah can stay with the party as it's written, because her spirit is tied to the book. And the Avowed are not going to allow the players to take the book with them, so Sarah gets left behind when they actually go out to do the adventure, which is not how I would play it. So allowing them to have the book with them so that Sarah can be with them and be kind of this silent reminder of the stakes and what they're trying to accomplish would be really cool. So yeah, everything in Waterdeep, fine, great, super. If they want to get into a fight with the second in command of the cult, cool. If not, that's fine. The only big thing I would change is Sir Veckin of the Broken Horn that was romantically involved with Sarah. I would, because you have Sarah's spirit with the party in Waterdeep, I would potentially, if the party isn't following this thread of checking in with Sir Veckin, I would have him be walking down the street and have Sarah's spirit pop up and cry, wail, beseech the party to go speak to him, point at him, because she can't talk because her tongue got cut out. So doing everything she can to compel the party and show that Sarah has a strong connection and opinion about this person. And that can be a really interesting and compelling, hey, we got a ghost that only the party should be able to see Sarah as well. That's another thing that I would say is she's a ghost. She can decide who can see her, or it's only people that are in possession of the journal can see her or something like that. Just to make that more interesting of her being able to be there, but it not be weird that the party has a ghost floating nearby. But yeah, I would have her recognize Sir Veckin and try to call out to him, try to get the party to go talk to him, stuff like that. Or you could have her possess a party member and talk to him that way. That would also be a really trippy scene to role play and play out. So that could be really interesting as well. The big thing that I want to talk about is the story, though, of this. So one way that you can up the stakes of everything is have Greenfast, the village that you end up going to, that Lord Vialis has gone to and is setting up his cult activities. Tie that into players' characters' backstory. Have that be their hometown, their home village. And so they know all of the people that are now kind of under the influence of this cult or being oppressed by this cult, having moved into their village, this outsider that's come from Waterdeep. That can be really interesting and compelling. And when they go to Greenfast, really ramp up the stakes and the tension and stuff like that. Additionally, you could have the party have a tie to the family of Yellowcrest Manor. That could also be a really interesting way to hook the party in. If one of them grew up in Waterdeep or whatever city, in whatever setting you're running this in, maybe they knew one of the kids way back when, before they became an adventurer. And, you know, it's been a little while, and 5 years ago, the family got killed, and it's tragic. And the player character has much more of an investment in it because either they knew the family or now they're having to go back to their hometown, but it's super weird because a cult has moved in, but they don't know that a cult has moved in at first, that kind of thing. But before we continue, if you are enjoying this video and want to be part of the conversation surrounding it, head on over to the Discord, the link to which is down there. Go check it out, join the community. We would love to have you. And if you enjoy these videos and want to financially support the making of them, patreon.com/thegeekpantheon is where you can do that. Thank you to all of the wonderful patrons. Thank you to everybody that watches these videos. But if you are interested in joining the Patreon, that is the place to do it. Let's talk about the villain. Lord Vialis is how I'm going to pronounce it. He is a cartoon villain. You know, he murdered his whole family and Sarah, his servant, and at no point in the adventure, in what little interaction the players get with this character, does he show any level of remorse or justification for his action. It's just very much like he got involved in a great old one and killed his family as part of a ritual, and now he's doing human sacrifices to further please the great old one, to build up a cult so that he can return to Waterdeep in greater numbers. And, you know, if you want to run that adventure, that's fine. This is a well-written adventure and can stand on its own without any tweaks. It's just going to be very, very basic, which is fine. Basic adventures are great. But what I would be compelled to do is think about why this Lord of Yellowcrest Manor did this. Why he would get involved, get into a pact with a great old one. And, you know, it could be maybe one of his children was ill and he was desperate to, the wording would be something like, ensure she does not die from this disease. That is something that a great old one could twist around and be like, fine, she's dead now. She didn't die from the disease. You're welcome. So something like that, where he was desperate and trying his best to figure out how to save his family. Or maybe, you know, if you want to get further, like get the whole family involved, like beseech, to ensure that his family does not suffer the indignity of falling into financial ruin. Maybe the family was on the verge of losing their home and, you know, killed the whole family. You're welcome. And I would have it be where, you know, the Lord was possessed by, you know, an avatar of the great old one and did this heinous thing. He killed them and then woke up and realized what he had done and fled. And now, why is he doing this ritual where he's having to like sacrifice people and build up this big cult and stuff like that? Maybe the great old one has now convinced him, oh, clearly we had a misunderstanding. My bad. So if you do this other ritual, and it's going to take a while to like ramp up to it, like 5 years, but if you do this ritual, then you can resurrect them. They'll come back. And, you know, you could come up with what would happen if you finish the ritual. Like they come back as zombies or aberrations or some other eldritch horror. But you decide that on your own. But that is why he's doing more heinous things now, is because he's desperate to get his family back that he lost. And that's more interesting from a villain standpoint, because he has compelling reasons why he's doing the terrible things and why he did the terrible things he did. But you're never going to question whether or not he needs to be stopped. And so he will be a satisfying villain to end up beating in the end. And you can even have his final moments be like this awakening and like point of clarity to where he looks at the party and thanks them for stopping him. Thanks the party for freeing him from the shackles of this great old one. And then in the little final like conclusion tableau moment, if you take the remains of the family and take them to hallowed ground to lay them to rest, and you have this lovely like end of Return of the Jedi tableau moment with all the ghosts standing around, you could have Lord Vialis there in like a much more restored form, with his family finally laid to rest, and that can be a very nice moment. And also, one other big thing though, why isn't Sarah just a daughter of the Lord? Why add this additional wrinkle of like he killed his family plus the help, and one of the servants is the one that just make her a daughter, make her the oldest daughter of this family. And I don't know what you miss out on in that regard. So that's my only big tweak from like the cast of characters. Make Sarah a daughter, make Sarah a member of Yellowcrest Manor. And then, you could even have her know why. Like, she in the afterlife, like, has gained a level of understanding of what happened. And that can be an additional layer that you can reveal through Sarah if you want. Or you could have stuff in the temple that the party has to go through to stop the ritual. You could have like a journal or notes or something from Lord Vialis, like detailing his descent into madness. You could do all sorts of things to tell this story through the adventure. But I think that would add an additional layer of emotion to the story by having this man who tried to go to the wrong source of power and made a pact with a bad one, and it cost him everything. And then in his attempt to restore the life that he lost, he became a destructive force that, if you did the other stuff, threatens the hometown of one of the player characters. And so that can be a really emotional and impactful story, especially at the end when you get to lay the family to rest. And if you don't want to have the Lord there, if you think that he is beyond redemption, even if he feels bad in his final moments, then that's fine. Allow the family minus him to have their final moment and their looks of thanks before they go on to the next life. So yeah, what do you all think? Let me know down below your thoughts on this adventure. Do you like it? Are you still enjoying this series? It's been a while since Candlekeep came out, but they have announced another book similar in structure with 13 adventures, Journeys of the Radiant Citadel. So maybe we'll do something like that for that book, like this for that book. I don't know, but be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Eric, and I will see you next time.